What's going on, guys? It is DigiWatch TCG coming to you with another Market Watch. Now, I do apologize for not posting a little earlier, but I did want to kind of wait for the pre-release prices to drop. We got also a ban list. So this Market Watch is going to be focused on those things as well as a couple of personal picks. With that said, please like, subscribe, leave your thoughts below on what you'd like to see next. Now, starting off our Market Watch, we are going to be taking a look at our EX collections, and I have a few personal picks to start off with. And the first one is Analog Youth. Now, I would definitely recommend buying this card over buying a box of sealed, because even though the sealed box is probably around $45–50, really this is the one chase card that's going to net you any gain. And I would personally just buy the single right out here, and as you can see over here, it actually is kind of starting to jump back up a tiny bit. It was around, for 3 months, let's just go to 3 months ago, it was around the $80 mark when it first arrived here. Well, I shouldn't say arrived here. It was climbing up. It got to its $80 mark back in March. It was seeing a lot of play in Digimon, so I think a lot of people did like to pick it up. And then as time went by, it just kept falling off, and that's because right now it's not really a format that Purple's doing too well with. Yes, we have a couple of different decks that are kind of good, especially if you're doing the dual color decks, the Rugamon decks right now, or if you're trying to play Werewolf Turbo. You know, that is kind of what this deck kind of thrives on. But if you are playing those decks, you're probably better off picking up the $5 copies rather than picking up the Analog Youth itself. I personally would pick this up if I am a collector rather than a player. Kind of like that's the reason I would pick this up. If we do look at the last month, though, it has trailed off to about the $60 mark. So I know in future formats this is definitely going to be a card that's going to be played, because we are getting a lot of purple support, and a lot of purple decks do like to trash cards, so this might be played later down the line. But again, this has one of the best arts in the game, in my opinion. I think this definitely should be one of that people pick up, at least to have the design. Now, going into another pick, I'm looking at Crimson Mode over here, and Crimson Mode actually has been holding its price about $50 for the last couple of weeks. If we do look at about the last month, it did have its spike initially, but it kind of trailed down to about the $48–49 mark. If we look at the sales, we are seeing it about 54. Now, Galamon is one of those rogue decks, in my opinion, that does see some play. Just being able to trash the top of your opponent's security is just very, very strong. And the fact that you can just Digivolve and do swing into your opponent's security, especially against like decks like Purple and Beelzemon decks, you can trash all their security in one check. That means nothing gets actually activated. It's just everything is sent to the grave or trash, and then you just basically swing for a game. So I definitely would consider picking up this. Now, of course, there is a regular art version. I personally prefer the regular art version to this one, in my opinion. I think the regular art has a nicer artwork than this one. I like the orange and the yellows that are in this design, but I do like the red that's used more in the regular art. Another one to look at is the Metal Garurumon from Classic Collection. Now, Metal Garurumon has seen some tops in the last couple of weeks at the regionals and Ulti Cups that have been played, and so this is the one that is usually played in those decks, being able to gain back a lot of memory, to push yourself back over to your side. Basically, what you want to do in this deck is basically have like 3 memory, go promote like a Garurumon, swing into your opponent's security, try to check as many cards as you can with it without dying, Digivolve into Metal Garurumon, gain back memory, and then be able to essentially go into your Metal Garurumon for game. That is basically how you're supposed to run the combos and stuff like that, and this is why it's played in the deck. The second effect never really takes place unless you're playing something like, I guess, purple matchups, but this is actually a really good card to invest in my opinion. It is some people who are not really turned on by the BT10 stuff will probably continue playing Metal Garurumon when we do get to BT10, so that might be something to consider as well. Also, it has a really great artwork, and also Classic Collection was one of those sets that wasn't really open too much and is not really open right now, so it's better off just picking up your copies. I luckily have 2 of them, so I'm just going to be holding on to my 2, and it is one of my favorite Digimon in the game, so I definitely will hold on to it. Now, another thing I wanted to mention, and this is kind of directed toward yellow, is because Jet Sylphie got hit on the ban list to 1. A lot of people have kind of stepped away from playing hybrids. There are still some decks that kind of have going around, playing Shine Greymon, playing that form of deck, but there's also the deck that was introduced in Digital Hazard, which is using the plugins to gain effects of DP reduction And I really do like this card, and it gets future support, so I think this is a good card to invest in. A lot of people, compared to Classic Collection, did open up Digital Hazard, and the arts in that collection are actually really good. So if you're a collector, just to collect I think just having one copy would be great. But if you're looking to play the deck as an alternative to, and you're like looking to play a yellow, Sakuyamon is definitely one of those that you may want to play. Now, another reason you also may want to play Sakuyamon is actually for this other Sakuyamon I'm going to bring up right now, which is the Sakuyamon from Tamer Set 1. Now, it has seen a spike in price up to about the $40 mark, and that's because right now we are in a OTK format in BT9, and until we get to BT10, it's really just going to be like an straight up OTK format for most decks. And Sukumon basically says if you promote, it gets -3 security, and if you attack you with any of your Digimon on your turn, all the opponent's Digimon gets -3000 DP. That actually does come up. I've noticed when I'm playing against this deck, just at locals or testing against other players, basically being able to reduce their DP cost, or the security Digimon, sometimes actually counts, because even though 11,000 isn't too high, just bringing down like a Omnimon, like or like anything like that, like Alphamon or anything like that, it's just very, very powerful to have. So I do think this is definitely a card to pick up. Now, if you weren't looking to play this card competitively, I still would recommend picking it up, because the artworks from Tamer Set 1 are so good, and it's so hard to find the actual Tamer set online. So I would definitely consider picking this up if you do have the chance. Going into our pre-release, we have a few winners from the pre-release, and that is the Dex Daruga line plus the X Antibody. Now, we can see the top four over here basically net you value. So if you pulled the Dex Darugamon, Dex Greymon, the X Antibody, or the Cool Boy, basically, I think you won you won your pre-release. I also really like the Dorumon. I was watching a player play this weekend, and he had the pre-release Dorumon, and I actually got kind of jealous. I was like, wow, that looks much better than the common version. I was a little surprised at how much it actually does pop in it. So I definitely would recommend trying to pick up Dorumons if you are trying to hollow out your deck and you're playing Alphamon. Another thing to go off over here is the Dex Xmon over here. So I will say this has been fluctuating. Now, I think that you should wait. You should never really buy pre-release cards. When, especially like when it's secret rares, because for $94, like as you can see, just a few days later it drops down to $50-$60 mark. Down here it's like it hit a low at 53. It is rebounding a tiny bit to the $60 mark, so I think this is going to kind of hold its price right here, and I think it's going to hold its price for basically where the Omnimon defeat Alter Art also was holding its price. It was usually between $60 and $70. I think it's going to hold its price around that same price over there. This is our version in this format of the defeats, essentially, if you are like not playing defeats in general. But like, speaking of defeat, we can see over here that it has kind of bottomed out for the last couple of days. I actually have been watching this, just keeping tabs open and seeing what the price was, and we can see over here it is around $40, and I think it's going to hold its price at $40. It is still a really good card, and no one really opens up Battle of Omni anymore, and so I would recommend, if you are interested in picking this card up, that you definitely pick it up now, because I think it is going to hold its price at $40. If we do ever get a format that's very Tamer reliant, hashtag BT10, this card actually might see a little bit more play, because then you can digivolve or onto your black or purple cards and delete their Tamers, kind of pushing back some of the cards. So I think that might be some form of strategy going forward, whether it's a Mastamon build or anything else. Now, looking at the other Alphamon card, secret rare, we're looking at the alternate art version of Alphamon Oryukin. Now, I did see the other version of this card was actually for $35, $36, the regular art, and then for $15 more you get the alternate art. If you're looking for singles, I think that picking up the alternate art is actually worth it. Alphamon is a fan favorite. This has a lot of Digimon lore behind it. And the artwork, I think, is one of the best ones we've had in the game as well. Just holding the Oryukin sword and just being able to have... It looks like freaking brilliant. I'm sorry. Like, it looks great. Now, another card I actually want to take a look at, too, is Jellymon over here. Now, going forward, I always preference this with two things. One, price, and two... we look at price and we look at lore. And right now, price is actually pretty good. And I've been watching this one too, and noticing that it hasn't really changed too much. Maybe a dollar up, a dollar down. But for the low end of alternate arts, this is definitely one I would recommend picking up. Now, it hasn't really seen too much play at the current time. It is played in all force decks, which is a kind of a cool way of utilizing this, because you want to get to 8 cards very quickly, and you do have a lot of Tamers that you play in all force Digimon decks. And the other thing is Jellymon is one of the protagonist cards, or protagonist Digimon in Ghost Game right now, which is the current anime. And as you know, a protagonist always get like additional cards and additional different evolutions down the line. So I think Jellymon right now only has up to her champion form, and then if she has an ultimate form, that might be something down the line that you want to play. So I would recommend at least picking up 1 to 2 copies of this card, holding on to them, because you never know. Gamamon we have in this set. In the next set, we're getting multiple copies of, different like versions of the champion and the ultimate lineups. So I think it's something to definitely consider picking up. Additionally, with that, we also have the Jellymon that comes in the promotion pack. Now, we already had the announcement for the tournament pack 6 coming out. So I do think if you don't have your playset of Jellymons, you should get them now, because if you are looking to play this card going forward, you may want to pick them up. It's kind of like the Garurumon, where Garurumon was a card that was a box topper for BT1, and now people are playing it, and you could have gotten each version of the card for maybe $3 to $4 like a few months ago when BT6, BT7 was out. But now it's like $14, $15, so you're paying $60 for a playset if you're looking to play that card. So Jellymon, I definitely think, is considered a good pickup. Or if you're not looking to play this card at all, you could definitely sell him and make a couple of, maybe $30 to $40. Now, looking at another winner from X Record is Cool Boy, and Cool Boy is actually holding its price for $450. I actually was looking at this again. This was one of the cards I was looking over the last couple of days and looking at the trends, and it actually has been fluctuating back and forth between $3, $4, and $5. And so I think it's actually going to hold its price because it's actually very short printed. I just opened the box this previous weekend, and I only pulled 2 copies of Cool Boy the whole entire box. For a rare to be that hard to pull, I definitely think is a little odd. Personally, but I do know that it's used in practically every single deck for BT9, maybe other than maybe the Black or Greymon deck, because you don't necessarily need to play it in that version, but you could. You can play in every version of this deck, so that is something just to keep in mind. Now, something I want to warn people about is the next one over here, and this is the Agumon, the Falcomon, and the Labramon. I would not recommend picking these cards up. There's very few printings, number one, on the market. So you have $50 here. You have about 40 for each of these over here. And the thing is that we already know that we're going to be getting these as like either like box toppers or some form of reproduction, whether it's going to be at convention centers or it's going to be through like a box topper moving forward. So I don't think it's worth at all this price. I think you should stay away from these prices. I know that the sellers here are trying to just get them off and load them off as soon as possible. And if you're a collector and maybe you want to try to pick these up for yourself or play them, I would definitely recommend maybe then trying to get it. But if you're just holding off, if you're able to hold off, it's not a necessary card in most decks. I definitely would not recommend picking it up. Now going forward, we do have Palmon over here. Now, and I have these a little bit spread out, so I do apologize for that. So I might click a little back and forth, but Palmon over here actually has been diving, and I haven't really seen too many Grandis decks out here. Now, this is 2 cards I wanted to kind of talk about. Let me just move this over a little bit. There we go. So Palmon over here was seeing about $13 last week when I was looking at the card, and now it's $9, $10. I think it's really interesting that it's actually going down so much. Palmon is a card that is used in a deck because you Digiburst it, and then it gives your Digimon jamming. So it doesn't really need it because like the Grandis Kawagumon can go up to like 17,000 DP and just swing over practically everything. But sometimes it is nice to have jamming, especially if maybe you don't have all your pieces. This one over here, Digiburst, gives it security +1. And this one also went down a tiny bit too, so it is holding its price around the $8 mark. It was about $13, $14 a few days ago, so a little surprised about that. But let me know your in the thought in down here, like if you know if it's just not seeing a lot of like top cuts. I do know it sees like top 16, top 32s, but maybe it's just like maybe people are teching in cards to like stop this. I don't know. Going into our Wergurumon, kind of interesting here. This one is the online participation for the first couple events that we had for online championships for 2021. Now, this one actually, unfortunately, you don't. It's not available to win anymore. I don't believe it is. I would have loved this card honestly because I'm a big Werguruma fan. It's probably one of my favorite designs for a Digimon, but this one definitely is an interesting one to buy, and holding it for $28 is a little high for me. I'd rather get this one over here. It has seen a tiny like increase. It was, like I said before, I picked these up pretty much when they were $4 down here, and then they have been trailing up to about $16-17 in the past month. It's kind of evened out right around that trend, about the $14 mark, and we can see over here it's pretty much 14. Now I will say at the time of recording here, I think that one deck was Metal Garurumon that did win the event. And so you may see this kind of jump up depending on if people are looking to play more rare Garurumon decks. Now, taking a look at Jet Sylphie, it had bottomed out a tiny bit. It was at $35 a few months ago. And then once we hit the ban list, I think it was right around this point right here, that it kind of started dropping to about the $25 mark. Now, I do think this is an interesting card because, interesting, like, I guess, trend to look at, because if you are looking to still play yellow, and especially if you're looking to play like some form of yellow hybrid, you could still technically put one copy of the Jet Sylphie, kind of like one copy of Reinforcing Memory Boost, to recover one card. And additionally to that, you can play one copy of the pre-release Hollow Foil version, but we do have some of the cards being reprinted in Event Pack 2, so you may be able to hollow out your deck. Event Pack 3. And you may be able to hollow out your deck even more and play Yellow Hybrid if you are looking to play that. But looking at over here, it's about $15. Then it goes to $18, and I think this is because, like I said, the Event Pack 3 does have some Yellow Hybrids that got reprinted and have a different artwork, and so people might look to make at least use the one copy of Jet Sylphie in their decks. Now, another card to take a look at is the pre-release card here for Crawling from the Darkness. It has been seeing a lot of meta play, especially in the Wergurumon, Cerberusmon Werewolf mode deck, and it has kind of seen its price up to about $40, $45 over here. It's kind of crazy. Like, I'm wondering if this is going to be hit on the ban list at all, whether it's going to be set to 1 or set to like less than 1, to get hit completely. I don't know, but definitely a good investment if you are looking to offload these, make a quick $40. Doromon over here, good investment, but it has dropped a little bit. So I was looking at this last week, and it actually was around the it would look at it right here, it was around $35. And then it has been steadily going down. If we look at the sales history over here, it was hitting around the $35, $38 mark. And it has seen, since like Alphamon is seeing a lot of competitive play, some people are looking to hollow out their deck, or at least have one copy of the foil version of the card in the deck. So for $33, I think it's not that bad for a pickup if you're looking to hollow out the deck. Although keep in mind, like I said before, you have the Doromon that is also a pre-release version of the card. You have the deck store with 15. This actually cut in price over here, just looking at like some of the other picks. But yeah, definitely consider picking this up while you can, or you, again, if you're a fan of the X Antibody archetype and you're just waiting to pick these up, you can wait till the end of the next format, because especially when we switch into different formats, prices do drop a lot. But if you're looking to foil your deck and going to regionals and looking to impress your friends, or just literally just make your deck bling, just definitely want to consider picking it up. Now, Magnet Angemon over here has been seeing a lot of security control play, and so it has jumped its price up to $60. I always recommend picking up this version compared to the regular art version, because I just think this version is so much like it. I think it's going, even if I didn't play Digimon, I would just want this card. I'd like literally just like put this out and like just show like my friends like, yeah, I have like a few copies of Magnet Angemon. So it is a really really nice card to have. I would definitely recommend picking up if you have, but 60 is a lot. So if security control does not see a lot of play, you may see it slightly bounce back to about the $50 mark. It does fluctuate, I will say that. Like if you look over here, we have one copy that just sold for $40. You have 60, you have 50, going back between 50 and 60. So I would catch it on a down. So when it does drop down over here, let's look at more recently. So it has been like trending upward. But it definitely could drop down in the next couple of weeks back to the $50 mark. Now, almost done. Taking a look at one more card out of Event Pack 1. Now, we do know that Commandramon does get support in a new form of Darkdramon coming out. And so right now it is bottomed out at about the $25, $28 mark. And we see the lowest price right now is $29. I think this might actually continue to go up if people are looking to hollow out their Commandramon deck. It is a fan favorite. It has a lot of lore behind it, so people might be looking to pick this up. Lastly, I always like to finish with a memory boost, and so just taking a quick look around the market here, we do see that black memory boosts have been seeing a lot more pickup, and prime memory boost over here definitely is something to consider picking up for the BT10 meta before it gets too expensive. And this is the reason why is because a lot of the Skull Knightmon cards are a play cost of 4 or less, so you could play them just by playing this card, and then you do want cards in the trash with this version of black. So it works very very well with the whole entire archetype. Plus it works also well with like stuff like Commandramon as well, being able to just hard play cards and gain the memory later on. Black memory boost, of course, being able to search for cards one more further and also get to bottom deck the rest is another option here. It is played usually 2 to 3 in the Alphamon decks or the Dex Dorugamon decks, so this might be something to consider picking up as well if you are looking to play the deck. Now we do see a little bit of decrease in the Howling Memory Boost because Blue Hybrid has been seeing a little bit of less play, so I would consider picking this up. Or just watch it in because it may drop down. Of course, we always have the regular art versions here, but the box toppers are also really good, and I do think that it is a good idea to possibly pick at least one copy of each up because no one's really going to be opening up BT7, at least in my opinion, for the foreseeable future. I would definitely consider picking up a couple of these cards, especially the ones I may not have. But with that said, please consider subscribing, and leaving your thoughts below on what you'd like to see next. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.